So yeah, should we jump into the news?
Let's do it.
I'm trying to play the news music. There we go. I hope I'm not too rusty at this after... Oh, it's playing again. It's on a loop. Literally talking about how I hope I'm not rusty, and there we go. Okay, getting used to my soundboard on this new thing. Let's talk about the news. First up in news this week, Vital Lacerda is back on Kickstarter, which is always big news for us. But this time it's one of his lighter fare games. The game is called Mercado de Lisboa, and it basically takes one section of the game Lisboa, specifically the building section, and makes a whole game out of it. So if you remember Lisboa, it has this grid of buildings, and you can build on certain sections of it and rows and columns, and then that triggers other things. Well, that's now an entire game in and of itself called Mercado de Lisboa. He didn't design it himself only. It is Vital Lacerda along with Julian Pombo and Pedro Soto. It is on Kickstarter right now. It's got, by the time you hear this, it's got about 10 days left to go. It's not an expensive game like most Vital games. You're looking at 100, maybe 120. This is $34 plus shipping, depending on where you are. Again, a smaller, lighter Vital fare, but every Vital game is worth a look, in my opinion. And yeah, Paul, did you check this one out?
I have not, but I'm not the Lacerda lover that like a lot of people in our group are. So, like, I basically rely on you. You debated him, right, as the greatest designer of our time.
I did. Doesn't mean that that's my opinion, but that was the role I was given.
That was the position. And, I love Lacerda's games. It's just, it's one of those things where I kind of ride the wake of people, like their wake of enthusiasm. And so, yeah,
I feel you.
This is how it'll be.
And lighter Lacerda is not necessarily what I look for in Lacerda. Maybe not what I feel is his strongest suit, but, once again, always worth a look.
What's the light Lacerda?
Like Escape Plan was kind of lighter. And then he designed a game with one of his kids that I'm forgetting the name of right now. Maybe it's his only kid. I said one of his kids. I don't know how many kids he has. They designed a game together that I remember reading the rules and going like, interesting, not for me. But yeah, he's done a couple. He's dipped his toe into some lighter fare. I mean, Escape Plan's still not necessarily light, but comparatively, I think it is.
Sure.
Next up, Horizon Zero Dawn, and a fantastic video game. I loved that game. I played it on the PS4. It's now just arrived on PC. There is a board game version of it. We don't know much about it, but it is available for pre-order. It is $100, which is quite a big ask for an IP video game board game. You can find it on store.steamforged.com. It is apparently shipping in October of 2020. It says October 16th. I feel like nothing ships when it says it will in the COVID world, but it's got some beautiful minis. And we don't know a super big amount. It is a semi-cooperative game, as you would imagine, with a big box of minis. 1 to 4 players. And if you love that game, like I do, it's definitely worth taking a look at. Just Google Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, and you'll find it. Or check this.
Do you have it on pre-order?
I do not. I feel like I have too many cooperative miniature games that I already don't really want to play.
And we know
but that's a me thing. That's a me thing.
Yep.
I don't necessarily love the genre. Next up, Tapestry plans and ploys the first expansion for Tapestry. We talked about this in previous episodes, but it is available for pre-order. If that is something that you want, if you want to give it a whirl, go to Stonemaier Games right now, and you get a $5 discount. Retail's $30. They're selling it for $25 plus shipping. If you are a champion member of Stonemaier, which is their sort of subscription service, you'll get free shipping, so $25, and it ships sometime in September, so probably not long after you place your order, but it is available now, not sold out yet as the time of recording, so go ahead and check that out if that is a game that you want to try. Paul, would you be interested in the Tapestry expansion?
I personally am, but I'm a person who I would describe it
Why
as...
does everybody have to give caveats for Tapestry? So many caveats. Well, I would, but I recognize it's crap. Everyone's got these caveats.
Hey, I'm not saying that, but thank you for finishing my sentence. Thank you.
But I'm like reading into your tone. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, I'm a person who really doesn't require the stringent. I'm willing to play for fun. And I feel like
balance doesn't break a game for you.
Yeah, like like I'm all about experience, and I think Tapestry gives an experience. I wouldn't say it's balanced. Like I it might, for longevity, I hope that it becomes more so. But but in the end, like I'm really interested in seeing how people interact and how they develop with a mechanism and a gameplay and a game style. So I'm all in the meta. So whereas I think a lot of our group basically goes and wants something that implies some longevity. Does that make sense?
Right. Everybody wants a game that they feel like they can make their game and play forever and master. But the fact is, we play every game about 4 times if we're lucky. So maybe the experience is better than the longevity sometimes.
Yeah. And I could be wrong about when I say everyone. I feel like our group as a whole tends to be one of like searching for a certain perfection when it comes to game design. And I love that about our group.
Totally. I do as well. But yeah, I'm excited to try it, and I've also really haven't played with the newly balanced factions from the original. So I know Jamie has done some work rebalancing the original factions in the box, and I'm excited to give those a try. Root has taken the digital board gaming world by storm. It is a fantastic implementation app available only on Steam, but it is now coming to iTunes and Google Play, meaning that you can play it on your computer. That I don't believe that means it's coming to iOS. iTunes is different than iOS, I believe. Gotcha. I am very excited for it to eventually come to iPad, but as of right now, they have announced that on September 24th, that is coming to iTunes and Google Play, along with some new patches, some new fixes. The solo Clockwork opponents are coming soon, they have announced, which is exciting. That's interesting because they already have an AI in there. So, but maybe, I don't know. I guess it's a way of playing. I actually don't really, it's just a different version of their AI, I guess, based on the one that's the solo mode that you can buy with the box. You can now look through the discard pile. They're going to add that. There's going to be an action log so you can see things that have happened. You can shorten the battle animations, which I would love because they were a little long. And there were some balance issues around how they were handling the field hospital for the cats. There was a pause in gameplay when a person had a card necessary to discard in order to revive their dead cats, which kind of gave away what suit of cards they had in their hand. And so they're working on a way to deal with that, because I know some people felt like that was slightly broken. I'm not totally sure what they can do to get rid of that, other than always add a pause, but that's annoying because that would just sort of add a lot of time to the game. But we'll see what they're working on it. They're listening to feedback and they're trying to improve it, and it is widening its reach of player base based on the platforms available, which is great because it is fantastic and worth a try if you at all even like Root. And I know Paul likes Root.
I think Root is fun. You love Root,
I love it conceptually, and like I just want. It's one of those games that I think we all have to play a ton in order to make it worth the time.
Yeah, I feel that. Do you remember the original art to Glory to Rome?
Yes,
it had that now I was a big fan of that art, but like most people that I'm around love the the minimalist art that's there now. But
yeah,
I feel like
black box edition,
and
I think rare.
I think people, for the way that I would see it is like, I think for me, like the cartoonness of Glory to Rome added to it because the game was so. But like for Root, I feel the cartoonish of it is actually hurting it from my experience.
You'd almost rather be a little more hardcore and like wear its violence on its sleeve a little more.
Exactly, and I'm not exactly sure why. That's what's so funny. Like if it were just a different theme, like fantasy or like war, like or whatever, like I think I would engage it in a way that that it deserves. But like ultimately, because of the cartoonness, there's something about it that makes me just think of it as a filler, and it's definitely not filler. And so there, I guess the word I would say is there's a dissonance in my connection to Root.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense to me, and I I love the art, but I my only thing would be I think it can pull in people who are expecting a different experience, and that wouldn't be an enjoyable experience when they realize what it is. But yeah, it's also, I think, that art has been a huge part of its success.
Oh, absolutely.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
Next up is a game to Kickstarter that I've never heard of this publisher before, Cogito Ergo Meeple. All right, I think therefore I'm Meeple, I guess. And they had a game I had never heard of before that was called. Oh, geez, hold on. I'm clicking on it right now. It was called Philosophia Dare to be Wise. Well, they have a new game now called Philosophia Floating World, and it is touted as an epic sandbox adventure set in feudal Japan. All of those things are interesting to me. And what is even more interesting is that it is a fully simultaneous deck builder for 1 to 6 players. When I hear fully simultaneous, I hear real time. I mean, that sounds like real time to me. This is a sandbox style game. How you play is up to you. Explore the fascinating, beautiful world, build majestic pagodas and Shinto shrines, learn ancient Eastern wisdom, fight fearsome monsters. I mean, I'm kind of in for all
that. Would simultaneous be 7 Wonders? Is that what you're thinking?
I guess. I mean, that's not deck building. That's card drafting, right?
Sure.
I mean, like, drafting is always sort of simultaneous to a certain. So it's worth looking into. Rahdo has a preview of it. I just found out about this as when I was doing research for the news today. There's still a month left on the Kickstarter, so there's time to check it out. Philosophia, so philosophy, but with an IA instead of a Y, and you'll find it. Philosophia Floating World. Not cheap. We're looking at £100 for this sucker. No, sorry, 100. Yeah, no, pounds. Yeah, not cheap. But go ahead and take a look at it if that sounds interesting. It definitely sounds ambitious. I'll say that. Next up in the news, Gloomhaven. When we're speaking of awesome digital implementations, we must mention the Gloomhaven implementation, also exclusively on Steam at this point and exclusively in beta, open beta. Their multiplayer co-op mode has hit. This is what people have been waiting for. Up until now, Gloomhaven has just been a solo play by yourself against the AI game. And now you can do what you can do at the table, which is play Gloomhaven with your friends online. It is an open beta, meaning that they're still tweaking it. They want you to try it and play around with it. A little tip, if you want to get it to work, you can't just update it on Steam and play. You actually have to go into the properties of the file, go to the beta section and click that you want to opt in for the beta. And then it will automatically update for the latest multiplayer co-op mode. And you can try it. I have yet to try it, but I know David Gillison, friend of the podcast, is very excited to give it a whirl, and we're going to try it together. This isn't the same Gloomhaven you buy at the store, either Jaws of Lion or the big box. This is a brand new, its own campaign that they've designed just for this, with all the familiar characters that you know. So it still has the same decks of cards for the characters, but a whole new adventure and campaign for them to be involved in, which I think makes it otherwise, like, why, it's like most people who would want to play Gloomhaven have played Gloomhaven, or at least, 10 or so scenarios of it.
Totes.
But yeah, maybe we can give that a try. I would like to try it. It is always a fun game and more fun with people. A couple games, the right people. Absolutely. A couple games that I am very excited about that have been hitting reviews this week. The first one is a game called Cosmic Frog. Paul, do you know anything about Cosmic Frog?
I don't. I think we're going to review, we're talking, this was on the news item earlier. And
it was the game that I wanted to play with you as well.
Yes,
this is a game about 2.5 mile tall frogs in space conquering things.
I mean, that's right up my alley.
Yeah. It is a nice collection. I've actually read the rules and played around with it on Tabletop Simulator. There's an official mod for it on TTS. And so the designer of Cosmic Frog is a guy named Jim Felly, who's sort of mostly known for making, for lack of a better word, weird games. He designed a game called Shadow of Malice that people really like. But these are games where if you are highly concerned with a balanced, asymmetrical, fair, modern Euro kind of experience, these might not be for you. These are more games with where the emergent stories and experience and RPG-ness of it mixed with modern board game mechanisms is sort of what he's going for here. And I will just say, so far, the reviews of Cosmic Frog are glowing. You can only get Cosmic Frog as a pre-order through Jim Feli's publishing company, which is called Devious Weasel Games. It ain't cheap. It's going to cost you $75, but it is gorgeous. This is like he went above and beyond and made high component quality. The map board is a big mouse pad material, unroll out mat. It's got giant frog miniatures, and the gameplay is really interesting and very puzzly and smart with I'm talking Dune levels of asymmetrical powers. And I'm really excited to get this to the table. I think when I first read this rulebook, I was like, this is a Paul game. This is a Paul game.
It sounds like what someone described to me as like a 5-ticket ride, and I asked him, like, what does that mean? He goes, well, like, you go to like a fair or something, and like, would you pay 1 ticket to go on the Ferris wheel? Like, yeah, sure, I'd pay 1 ticket to go that. But like, the death-defying roller coaster, like, it costs you 5 tickets. And not everyone's going to pay that 5 tickets. I'm saying it wrong. Crap. Rewind.
Didn't they used to call this like an e-ticket, or like there was a word for that, like the expensive ticket. Yeah.
Basically, like, not everyone's going to pay to go on the roller coaster, but those who will pay 5. And like, not everyone's going to pay to play Cosmic Frog, but those who will spend $75.
So the full title of the game is Cosmic Frog: World Eaters from Dimension Zero. You can check it out at deviousweasel.com. There are reviews everywhere for it starting to trickle in, and they're not just positive, they are Game of the Year positive. People are losing their minds a little bit about Cosmic Frog. So check it out. You can still pre-order it. It's apparently shipping at the end of this month or October. It ain't cheap. Check it out. Read the rulebook. Try it first on Tabletop Simulator for free. But it's worth checking out. Another game that's starting to get reviews that I am very excited about, and I think Paul is going to be excited about when I tell him what it is. Raiders of Scythia, which is a new game from Shem Phillips, who we love for his Architects of the West Kingdom and Paladins and Raiders of the North Sea. This is Raiders of the North Sea 2.0, which we really enjoyed that app, right, Paul?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We had a great time playing it.
So this has that same mechanic of put a meeple down, take a meeple off, which I thought was really interesting and smart and gave some really cool decisions. And this is a slightly heavier, tuned, and modernized version of that game. That game was great on its own, but this is, first of all, the art is gorgeous, and the theme is not Vikings, it's Raiders of Scythia, so horse warriors, which I'm always into horse warriors. Big Riders of Rohan fan. It looks beautiful. It plays 1 to 4, same as pretty much all Shem Phillips games or Garfield games. And I'm really excited for this one. The Dice Tower did a review of it. It's like, boom, incredible. Basically replaces the old version. I'm excited, and I really liked that game. And I was kind of like, if somebody had said like I never bought that game, I liked it enough, but like this I'm buying, because it's like, okay, it's that, but like that game was like slightly maybe a touch too random for me, and maybe something that's like, I don't know. I was close to buying it a few times, but I was like, do I really need this? But Raiders of Scythia sort of pushed me over the edge.
And no, I think I reviewed Paladins, on an earlier podcast, and it was one of those things where I think where our group landed was, it's not for us as a whole generally, but there definitely is a market for this type of game for people, and I hope that they continued that, because I feel like it's a great an entry point into our hobby. I think that.
Yeah,
I see it.
totally. And they all play great solo. And I love the artwork. So Sam Phillips is the artist of all of these. And no, not all of these. Sorry, he's only done Raiders and Circadians. Oh, so this is a different artist than their typical artist. Okay, yeah, it looks a little different, but it's still sort of in that wheelhouse. I really like the way this one looks.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, pretty cool. So anyway, you can pre-order that through Garfield Games. I believe that also is shipping end of this month, beginning of next. So those are all things that are coming soon and worth knowing about. Hey, if you enjoyed that video, you very well might enjoy the other videos you now see being suggested to you on screen. Also, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, or subscribe to our Game Brain channel. Thanks so much.